work with the Sold Out Horn section. I also had Chris Condell come in, who plays with a guy by the name of George Wesley, and he's also one of the engineers at the SI Studios. And these guys just make me sound so good. So I don't know if any are listening tonight, but if you are, guys, again, I know I say 1,000,000 times a week, but thank you again for helping us get it out there, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thanks, guys, for helping make this music that we're able to put on the air.
Yeah,
we
for sure.
definitely appreciate it.
Now, real quickly, before we continue on, now, if anyone out there is listening in, if you have any questions for us, please put it in the chat room where we're really interested in hearing. You have any questions for Johnny and the blues or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, opinions, questions, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to ask. You know, we don't mind.
Yeah, and also going back on the blues topic, because Johnny was mentioning a movie back in 1986 by the Crossroads.
How about it? Great movie.
It was. Of course, I had a big old crush on what's his face, Ralph Macchio.
And you admit that. Now that's why she's the coolest host, folks, right there.
I won't admit anything. I'm also a New Kids on the Block fan, and I don't care what anyone says. So there. But anyway, what I remember, I haven't watched this since then. But what I remember, it was pretty awesome, and them trying to bring back the blues and give them more of an idea about the blues, and so it was, it is from the time. I just wish they bring out more movies like that to introduce the young crowd what blues really is, and that's what basically the blues came from. Was during the Crossroads,
For sure. I mean, that's a great story, and that was a very timely piece when they released it. There was a little lull in the blues world, and we needed a little insurgence, and that's one of the things that was in the public eye, where they could, say, hey, guys, here's something you might not know about, but you should. And wonderful cameos by Steve Vai. I mean, one of the greatest electric guitarists who ever lived, guitarist, period, not just electric, but he played the devil in it, and everybody just sat there like, wow. And, of course, the great Ry Cooder doing the slide parts. And a traditional slide guitar, and I can't think of anyone who does it better than he. I mean, he really does it well, and I like slide. I did it on the first album, I think, on one of the cuts. I'm not sure if I did anything on the recent album with the slide. It's a whole different style. What I'd like to do is when I pick up a slide again and actually attempt to record something with it, I want to also include a resonator guitar, a steel, and get a National or something along that lines, and really get down home and do some serious blues in that vein or that style,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't have the slide here tonight. I do have my kazoo here. The ultimate instrument, right? What was the old Hendrix riff? And I think a lot of people don't realize that's on the recording, but listen closely. It's Crosstown Traffic. It's in there. It's a kazoo. But little known fact, if you take a kazoo and you hold it on the guitar strings just right, you can get a slide effect. There it works.
Wow.
We're in business.
So are you going to play for us later on?
Yeah, we'll be chiming in here and there with this. I love this. Is a little Fernandez guitar. I said earlier, it's a battery-operated 9-volt thing, and Fernandez, unfortunately, was swallowed up by the big fish, and they're liquidating what's left of the company, and I'm sad. They made some really great guitars. But this thing is a kidney-shaped guitar. It's small. It'd be perfect for a radio host to learn how to play guitar on.
Hey, see, that sounds like something that should happen in the near future.
Oh yes, absolutely.
It has a built-in speaker, and I played a lot of guitars, some highbrow stuff over the years. I bought a few of those too. But I got to tell you, the neck on this guitar is superb. I cannot believe how good it plays, and. Yeah, I like this. I use this when I DJ. You have to pay the bills.
Absolutely.
And back in the 80s, the club scene was great. You could go out with any band, and you could just play, and people loved it. You know, like you see the scene in Purple Rain when he's out at what was it, First Avenue, the bar that they filmed that in. And you could go out and do shows, and it was packed, and there were people, and the PLCB or whatever LCB is in your area, they weren't out there knocking people down left and right and giving them, you know, jail sentences and $10,000 fines. They were relaxed, and people would go out and party and have fun, and it was great being out there and playing. It was really great playing out there, and a better time gone by, you know.
Well, now. Speaking from experience, I'm sure you run into similar situations. Now getting gigs sometimes, if you're not a super well-known act in a local area, or you can't ally yourself technically with someone who is a large local act in an area, it is like yanking the teeth out of somebody's head to try to get a show at a venue.
Nice observation. Yep. And I got to tell you, man, that's a bummer because there's a lot of really great stuff out there. But, you know, back in the day, there was so much to play, and I'd like to see a little bit of that return in general. I hate to pick on DJs because I do DJ, but, you know, a lot of DJs went into clubs and just they were able to play whatever crazy thing people wanted, and it just kind of helped usher the bands out the door again, you know?
Well, I have to beg the difference with that one, because I used to be a disc jockey.
No, go ahead. That's fair game. What do you got? What do you got?
I used to be a disc jockey way back in my early 20s. I wasn't 21 yet, so I could not go into the bars. So we had this place called a Java Jump here in Fife. And it was an all ages, well, actually 18 and up, and it was a coffee shop. Talk about a nightclub. Drink coffee nonstop. It was great. And coffee all the time. And we played all types of music, and then every Sunday we will actually bring in bands.
Cool.
And that was in all ages, where all ages can come in and watch those bands. And we had some amazing...
It wasn't an open mic show then, right?
No, it was not open mic. We actually had someone booking bands for our Sunday nights. And every now and then we'll actually not have a Friday night show or Friday night DJ show or whatever, and we will actually have a open a band come in, and it was fantastic. And bless you who's sneezing again.
That's Patty. She's
But anyway, and so that's how I got really involved in watching bands, because I never seen or watched bands play like this for like forever, and they have some amazing talent coming out of there. So I beg to differ on, you know, back then.
I think it comes down to area. I really do, because unfortunately in our area it was quite a different experience, and once upon a time there were all these great bands all the time. It was incredible, and then all of a sudden every bar you walked into, and you just heard the, you know, and there was just no live music anymore, and it was like, oh man, what's up with that? Like, you know, I can appreciate if it was one night a week or 2 nights a week, and that's how they advertised it, and you know, get your groove on, whatever. But how about doing a little something live every now and then? And in our area, not so much. It didn't happen that way.
When I was DJing, we had hired this one disc jockey who played nothing but techno rave beginning of the hour. And
how did that go over?
It didn't go very well, because back in those days, techno rave was not the popular thing, and so they didn't dance. They didn't know how to react to it. And then when my shift came up, I played everything: dance, hip hop, rock and roll, you name it, I did it. And I mean, just kind of like I'm doing here on this show, I play eclectic where everyone's on the dance floor. One thing they hated when I DJ is that when I play techno rave, I get them all jump, and all of a sudden I play India. They're like, wait.
Well, I got to tell you, I went the route, you know, and it's a good route. I went the route of like the wedding party DJ rather than the club DJ, and the reason is because our clubs weren't as diverse as obviously the ones you were in, which is great. The weddings are. When you do a wedding, you get to play everything. from techno dance to old 50s rock to Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra, and so I love that, being able to mix that up. It fits in with my musical style and who I am, and like I said, there's very little I'm offended by. There's very little I don't listen to. I think we could definitely, we're ready for something different in the average club, whatever that would happen to be. We have to define that, I suppose, but that won't be an easy task because every area is so different. I know down south you do see a lot of live bands, albeit they're probably mostly country, but then again, not in Mississippi. You're going to get some blues when you're down that way. But that's what's great about music in general, because you can talk to people in the same country but from different areas, and you just get totally different way of looking at things. And it's awesome because I think there's blues in every one of those areas, and they all go a different direction with it, but that's what makes it fun. And viva la blues! But yeah, I actually when I DJ though too, I have fun with it. I do shows. I mean, I do have shows. I have a 50s, 60s oldies show. I built the front end of a 57 Chevy with working headlights and turn signals. And I have street signs and Route 66 signs and surfboards and all that kind of crazy stuff. And recently I just put together a 70s disco dance show.
Oh, cool.
And that is so much fun. And for that one, I got a picture of Studio 54 in New York, and I approximated and sized it, and I actually built an 8-foot replica. So I have the sign, the big marquee with the 54 on it, and the lights that trace around. And nowadays we have all these great LED lights, so you should see the light show. It's great. It dances, I'm going to work on an 80s show next. I'm trying to come up with some ideas. I know, so much of the 80s was the introduction to video. And
it was.
And so it's hard not to want to take out screens and hang them off the truss, At least a couple of video screens showing something in the background.
Well, speaking, since you brought up the 80s and what you've been doing on your DJ show, starting on August 2nd, we are going to start a brand new podcast. I haven't figured what time I'm going to put it just yet, but it's going to be on August 2nd, and it's going to be called Spotlight. And it's spotlighting tribute and cover bands from different kind of eras. And if the cover bands and tribute don't want to come on the air during that segment, we can have a disco night. Remember the discos?
Fantastic.
So there's
I just had a wicked deja vu, by the way. Like,
why is that?
I don't know. I think there's like Dave Bowie said, on a wave of haze. I just had I think you just came through earlier with that sometime in my dream or something. Because when the way you said it, it's just resonating in my head. Wow, you're freaking me out, girl. What's up with that?
So I mean,
I gotta stop drinking these Diet Cokes, man.
You're gonna have to. Well, the thing is I want to give cover bands and tribute bands to have their time to have themselves a spotlight on a show too, because they do a lot of work too, recreating the timeline.
Oh yeah, and it's worth the price of admission just for the fashion when it comes to disco and band stuff. We did a New Year's Eve party at a little theater in our area. It was off the hook, and they gave away prizes. And one of the guys that won, he did a real retro disco thing. He had the big platform shoes, but the shoes were clear on the bottom, and they were fake, of course. So all you PETA guys, if you're listening, you don't have to send hate mail, but they had goldfish in them. And if you search it on Google, it'll come up, and they're men's disco shoes with about a 6-inch heel on it, maybe more, and inside is a little goldfish with some weeds and stuff like that. Totally off the hook. Really funny stuff.
Nice.
And I think the girl who won was dressed like Bo Peep, but like a disco version of her.
Nice.
If you can imagine that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think everybody's bored with today, so they go back to find fun stuff and reinvent it,
Absolutely. All right, so I have the best of my life queued up, and it's your last song I have